Okay, folks, welcome back to another killer edition of Opali Presents Know Your Pros. Today, we have a wonderful guest. We have Sara Bolokofsky of KSTech. That's Kornerstone Technology Services. They are a managed IT services and support business based out of Westlake Village, California. They serve SoCal, but can remotely service anybody here in the state of California. Sara, I am stoked to have you here as a guest today.
I am super happy to be here.
Well, Sara, I mean, you're part of my little power team of tech folks here in Southern California. We meet on Zoom every 2 weeks, and what you do is unique and really interesting because a lot of businesses, when they launch, they don't have the first idea about how to get set up and get all their phone, their internet, their backups, everything else, their data all online. And that's really where KSTech comes into play. So let me ask you this. How was it, or why was it that KSTech got into business for themselves? Can you give us a little story there?
Absolutely. Cornerstone was founded after three employees of a previous technology company decided to go out on their own. They worked for a managed services provider, and they worked very well as a team there. They were a project management team. They went out, all three of them together, and did all of the different projects and things that company needed. And unfortunately, that business went under, and they said to themselves, why can't we just keep going? And so they did.
Do your own thing, man. I mean, that's great. And we talked a little bit about the industry here with managed IT support services. Like, why is it that this industry was so attractive to them? And I mean, I want to get your take too. Why this industry, and what is it about that makes it important to you?
So this industry, the biggest thing that they always try and push in all aspects of business here at Cornerstone is that we are a partner with our customers. We work in partnership with them to help their business grow and thrive and do better. We take on the technology piece so that they can go out and do what they do best, which is everything else involved in running that particular business. And we focus on being a one-stop technology shop for all of these, small businesses out there that don't know how to handle, technology, computers, networks, phones, internet, anything.
There are more of those than you might expect out there, which always kind of like surprises me and makes me a little nervous about like what the state of actual adult businesses like are. When you were a kid, you thought like, oh my gosh, like everybody's got it figured out. But in reality, nobody's got it figured out. And that's why KSTech has a business, right? You talked about small businesses, but tell our viewers like a little bit about like where your sweet spot is, that ideal customer profile in terms of size.
So our ideal customer is probably 25 to 75 users. That's really where we do our best work. And we work very well as the only IT solution that they have. We take over the whole aspect. You don't have to hire anybody in-house because we will do it. But we can also work in partnership with somebody you may already have on site who maybe doesn't know all the facets or is just overwhelmed with the extra help.
Yeah. Okay. So being overwhelmed, I mean, that's like, an easy thing to think of. But what I wanted you to talk about here at the very end is like, speaking of overwhelmed, we talked about like horror stories before we started shooting this thing. And my last question is always like, why is it that somebody should call Cornerstone over that next managed service provider? So, go into that a little bit with the horror story that we kind of went over with another provider that you guys have run into. I mean, this is a perfect example of why you guys are different.
Yes. So a lot of our business, our customers, our businesses who have found us because they are dealing with somebody already and they are having trouble. The example that you're referring to is we went in, we were looking at getting an office space, and we had an appointment to meet with an owner of a building. And he wasn't just the owner of this building, but he also ran a medical office in that same building. And as we're walking in for the appointment, he is setting down the phone and getting the news that he has been hit with ransomware, which for those of you that don't know means that somebody has blocked his data and has said, pay me or you don't get it back. And he hangs up the phone and he says, I know we have an appointment right now, but my managed service provider just contacted me. I've been hit with ransomware and I've been paying for backups and they haven't been doing them. And so 6 months of data is going to be gone. And I said, I've got a guy for you to talk to in my office. And he's been a customer of ours for 6 years.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's so impactful. I mean, it's that sort of thing is just like a shot straight to the chest. If you've got a business, your data and your IT network is your livelihood, especially if you're running a business in that sweet spot size for Cornerstone, 25 to 75 users. That's going to take you down if you don't have a backup over the last 6 months for probably another 6 months, right? I mean, that's just like an enormous hit to any business. So
it's tragic. It's hard for a medical office specifically to even lose a day's worth of data. How many patients do they see in a day?
Right. It can't happen. And that's why people use MSPs, IT support companies, just like you guys here at Cornerstone Technology. KSTech is the name. Sara, before we wrap this up, let's tell our viewers, where is it that they can get in touch with Cornerstone Technology?
Sure, you can always find us on Google. Our website is www.kstech.com, TECH. And our main office phone number is 818-206-6383. When you get there, if you hit 0, you'll get right to me.
And that's like the best part about these shows that we do with Know Your Pros is that we only profile businesses that pick up that phone. And if you call them, you'll get Sara on the other end of that line. So Sara, I mean, thank you so much for being a guest here. I think that what you guys do is very impactful, and I'm excited to share this with the viewers of Know Your Pros. Once again, folks, we have Sara Bolokofsky of Kornerstone Technology Services. Sara, thank you so much for being a guest with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Know Your Pros!